everybody.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This will be fielded at the 8. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They'll be led out by their quarterback, a prolific passer in his days at Baylor. It's Bryce Petty.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets, and bottom line, how do they get a win?
And the big boys up front in the trenches, what do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
So incomplete on first. Let's see what second down has in store. Petty now. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Jordan Leggett the target there. And that takes us from second to third down. And we take a look now at the defense for the Raiders.
If you're a GM in the NFL and someone wants to question your credentials and you say, well, I drafted Khalil Mack, you're good to go, because Khalil Mack was the 2016 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He anchors everything they do in Oakland. Speed off the edge, strength at the point of attack, can drop into pass coverage, can play defensive end and outside linebacker, and guess what?
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. So they escape, so to speak, maintaining the football. Defensively, though, opportunity miss.
It definitely was, because that's all defenses talk about. Getting the football and either advancing it the other way or just getting possession and turning it over to their offense. That can be a little bit deflating. You're exactly right. A lost opportunity.
On fourth down, here's Lachlan Edwards to punt it. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And the punt goes out of bounds. Where will they put it? They'll put it just inside the 45-yard line. So here comes the Raiders offense now onto the field. And a glance here at their quarterback, standing 6'3". Taken down just shy of midfield. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down. And the Buffet boys, the O-line, hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Takes to midfield, but no further. Just a yard there. Now it looks like we've got a Raider here, slow to get up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. The Jets will bring in a nickel set as they try to stop this third down. To throw here. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Campbell. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. A pickup of 10, and it's enough for an Oakland first down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
And the game just keeps evolving. Big guys running those corner routes, so difficult to cover.
To throw now on first down. Over the middle, complete. It's Newton. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. Pretty solid start for the rookie here on this first drive, Charles.
Able to have some confidence, stepping back into the pocket, move around a little bit, find open receivers, and deliver. That just means his confidence is going to continue to grow because he's getting more and more comfortable with each completed pass.
And the offense lining up 1st and 10. They'll look to throw. And this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Clive Walford, his first touchdown on the year. And the Raiders have taken the early lead. And the QB rating right now is sky high. 4 for 4 on that opening drive, and it ends with a touchdown pass.
Yeah, I don't know quite how to figure it out. I think I need my friends from MIT to come in and help me. But I think 158.3 is the number one.
Yep, that's the
right.
high
That's
mark.
the highest you can get. That's where he is. He'd like to continue on that pace.
A drive that time of 6 plays, and it winds up in 6 points for the Raiders. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be fielded at the 8. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. So we take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC as the Jets come back out on offense. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the number 1 or number 2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed, because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure. The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. And the Raiders have got him.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations, because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
Defensively, a dime look here. 6 DBs on 3rd and 12.
No surprise at all.
Here we go now.
Here's Patty. And he will have the first down as he's brought down up near midfield. It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Jet first down. First down and 10 now for the offensive group. And he'll give it here to his running back. No gain on the play. It'll be second down. Well, a well-executed blitz, no doubt. Great job by the linebacker. Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
Yeah, he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense. All the gaps were filled except for the one the offense really wanted to run through, and that was filled by a big man wanting to make a tackle.
And he made a great tackle. They'll keep it on the ground. Turner. And they'll stop him right on the midfield stripe. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a third down. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
And a shot taken on third down, unsuccessful. Fourth down now. Here's Lachlan Edwards now. He'll boot it away from about his 35. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. Fair catch taken right at the 10-yard line. 36 yards on the punt with no return. And the Raiders will take over now, 1st and 10. And now Oakland ready to take the field. You know, in our research packet this week, prepping for the game, so many articles from the local beat writer about the offensive struggles of this team and what will they do this offseason. What do you think they'll do?
Well, number one, they'll turn to their self-scouting report. And every team that's any good does this. They have outside groups. Check out their team, scout them, and tell you who can play, who can't play, and reasons why. Some of it may just be health. They have to get some guys healthy and back out on the field. But overall, evaluate this squad and make the changes that you need to.
And the defense for New York.
It's almost as if Darren Lee said, welcome to the new NFL when he was drafted in 2016. He was a high school cornerback, moved to outside linebacker in college, and now plays inside linebacker in the NFL. Speed, speed, speed is his stock in trade.
Here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Showed a good move, but quickly corralled just beyond the 10-yard line. Give him 3 yards on the run there. That still leaves him with a difficult 3rd and 8 coming up.
Okay, work with me here. Make sure I'm clear on this. When inside their own 10-yard line and they run a toss play, I know it works, but ordinarily it takes a lot of chutzpah to do something like that because the only thing more dangerous is trying to throw the ball in that situation and maybe taking a big loss.
Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Johnny Holton, 88 yards. And the Raiders add 6 to their lead. And, Charles, I had an offensive coordinator tell me one time that they design every play to score. I don't know how true that is, but he had to run a long way after that catch. Heck of a play.
I think that when he was telling you that, he was designing run after catch in every play. I mean, that's the only way to put it in there, and that's what we got on that one. Nice catch, an even better run for big yardage.
Janikowski now for the point after. And it's good to make it 14-0. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it ends with an Oakland touchdown. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This one taken just inside the 10. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. And the Jets set to take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Hurry up,
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. His throw incomplete. The Jets on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 7.
Here we go now.
He'll look to throw. And down he goes. Brought down a Raiders sack.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely he's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he's on to punt for New York. And he's getting a workout here in this first quarter as he gets it away. That's pulled in at the 32. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Hoping now to get back in the end zone on his 4th possession. Now a handoff here to his running back. Pushing forward for 3 up to the 48.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you got to continue to try and run it and try and keep the defense honest.
You mean, or also just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
All right, here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And nowhere really to go there. He'll take this up just shy of midfield. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it's going to make it 3rd down at 6.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Going right side here, and that's complete. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. 14 yards is the pickup there at a Raider first. A pretty sizable deficit here in the first quarter. This defense probably need to get off the field in those situations on 3rd down.
And you and I both know in this huddle before that last 3rd down play, that's exactly what they talked about. Let's make a play. Let's get off the field. Let's reverse the momentum. Instead, they got hit with another first down, almost back to the drawing board.
So 1 quarter in the books on a cold December afternoon. 14-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. Ready to go now in the second quarter. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. It's the Raiders in possession of the football. And they've got it here with a first down. Back to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's scooped up by the Jets. And his guys will take over at their own 44-yard line. And a defensive-minded coach loves to turn up the heat, turns it up there, it pays off.
And back in the good old days, those defensive-minded coaches just talked about intimidating teams, using force, right, beating them to the punch. In this case, they're talking about creating turnovers. That's all they preach. All game long, all practice long, every meeting, get the football. That's what they want.
On the NFL scoreboard, an update from Los Angeles. It's the Rams that have grabbed the early lead. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses.
Green 39.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
On second down now, Turner. He'll be dropped shy of the 40 despite powering through the tackle. Only 2 yards on the carry. That's going to set up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 15 to be exact.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
And he fires one, but incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. Fielded just inside the 20. It's a 40-yard punt, 6 yards on the return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Here comes the field general leading his offense back out there for the next possession. And he's been good. 2 first-half touchdown passes, no interceptions so far.
Does a lot for your confidence, does a great deal for your team, gives them a lead, and they're feeling really good about how they're playing. I think he expects to throw at least another one.
I was going to say, now he wants the first-half hat trick, doesn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. Go ahead and fling him on the field, folks. He wants that type of celebration.
He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
Well, forget about finding a lane there. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Probably fortunate he was able to hold on to the football.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And a nice run past the 30-yard line there. 8 yards there on the carry, and now they're left with a much more manageable 3rd and 3.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
The Raiders on 3rd down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. Here it's 3rd and 3. They're going to look to throw. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's going to have the first down yardage to the 35. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
Back to throw now on 1st down. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. That one will go as a gain of 11. Raiders having a first down as well.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and this is what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And a big hit there as he runs into a brick wall near the 48-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
When the 4-3 defense is functioning really well, you know who stays what we call clean and no one gets to him? The guy playing the middle linebacker position, the guy we call Mike. That means the defensive front is eating up all the blocks and just let him go to the football and make a play.
And he finds a man on the crossing route. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. 23 yards on the play. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
Encroachment defense.
And he got a little aggressive too early.
And he did, wanting that quick takeoff as the ball was snapped, but I think sometimes those big guys on offense, they're pretty cagey too, right? They make those little sudden moves or those little subtle moves that get you to jump.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Throw left side complete. That's Newton. No gain there on the completion. It'll be second down. Now the old pass completion for no gain, not something you want to call up out of the playbook too often.
Yeah, most offensive coordinators don't have that on their play sheet, so they've got to go back and scramble after this one. But right now, with what they're telling receivers about making sure you take care of the ball in open field, sometimes the fighting for extra yardage doesn't come as a result. That and good tackling can lead to no yards gained.
On play action, they'll throw. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. They've got another first down. The Raider passing game clicking on all cylinders right now. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially in the red zone, short field. But now even more so because these tight ends aren't necessarily the tight ends of old. They're the rocked-up wide receivers who have a little bit more speed. Way harder to cover than before.
Janikowski on for the extra point. And it is now 21-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This will be taken about the 12. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. So we take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC as the Jets come back out on offense. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
Pass interference. Offense.
So flag for the contact, pass interference.
And I know that you're going to look at me and roll your eyes, and rightfully so, because you know what I'm going to say. Doesn't the defender have a right to the football as well?
No, I don't like defenders.
That's because you spent too much time.
Blitz coming, and down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Here we go. 3-19.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. And he whips that one incomplete there.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss.
Here we go. 3-19.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And incomplete on the deep ball.
An attempt at a deep ball there. They didn't get it. But, boy, they're going to need a few of those to actually hit in order to get back into this game.
Good thing they do have a little bit of time here still left in the contest. Decent-sized deficit, but not one that they can't manage. Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. This is taken around the 12. So possession goes over here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here again comes the captain of this offense leading his crew back out there now. I'm sure he wanted to have a huge game, wants to have a huge game as the quarterback, but really on the ground, they've been very, very hard to stop. Maybe you just keep going to that well.
I think so, and isn't it funny how the definition of balance changes for us from game to game? Sometimes it's 50-50, run it, throw it. Sometimes it's just being a balanced running team in terms of who's carrying the football.
Not more than one guy.
Right, multiple guys out there, and now your guy back there has to throw it. Doesn't have to worry about it quite as much.
And they've got the lead here in the 2nd quarter. Second down here after the incomplete pass.
Here we go. 3-19.
He'll look to throw. Gonna throw right side here. Complete. Give him 30 yards there. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the 1st half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
Now a handoff here to his running back. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another 1st down. It will.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Newton. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time, and a 1st down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
Two minutes to go here in the 1st half. We'll come back to MetLife Stadium after this short timeout. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Larry Ridley in Orlando with highlights and analysis of this 1st half of play.
And I'm going to check in with a heater.
I'm going to be right there with you, partner. Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Newton. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Green 39! Green 39!
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles, you never know who's going to get home. In this case, the left cornerback, right in the face of him, puts him down.
The Raiders on third down. A perfect 4 for 4 thus far. This is third down and 12.
All right, here we go. Blue 90.
They'll look to throw here. And he's got room. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive. They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And it's caught. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that could finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Janikowski now for the point after. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. So that drive goes 8 plays, and it winds up in 6 points for the Raiders. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Fairly short kick, taken at the 14 here. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. Now we get a peek at the captain of this offense heading back out there. And boy, Charles, they have to find a way to just get him some time to breathe back there. He's been pressured throughout this game.
And I'll bet in his mind he's thinking the focus shouldn't be on how many times I've gone down. It's where is it happening? Where are the breakdowns up front? He'll never say it publicly because good leaders don't do that. But they've got to figure out what's happening in the offensive line to keep people away from him so he actually has a chance to throw the football, because so far that has not been the case. 5
full sacks against him. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be second down.
So much of this game is about leverage. We always talk about low man wins in the trenches. Well, it's like that in just about every position. And sometimes, if you lose that leverage and you're losing the battle, just jump up at the line of scrimmage and try and bat the ball away. And that's exactly what happened there.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And a stoppage here, a timeout before this third down play takes place, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Now back to throw. Well, they would have gotten the conversion if he could hold on. Instead, the drop means it'll be 4th down.
That was a classic example of trying to run with the ball without securing the catch. He was thinking about those rack yards instead of making the catch first and then taking off.
Now Edwards to kick as he sends it away. This is brought in at the 21. So a change of possession here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Meanwhile, out in Los Angeles, they're in the second quarter now. It's the Rams that have grabbed the early lead. I have a feeling that one's going to stay tight throughout. We'll continue to monitor. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. They'll be taken down. The Jets get in there for the sack. And there they bring pressure from the inside, and they get home.
Yeah, hard to block everyone, isn't it? And on this play, someone did not get blocked. He's the one who got home.
And to give this time to the tailback. And this will go as a short gain on what will be the final act of this first half. So we've reached halftime with the visiting Raiders out in front as we send you down to Orlando where we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Larry.
So here we go. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. First and 10. The quick pass, it's complete, and he's going to go 11 yards for the score. They strike first in the half. Third down from the 12. Holton's got the reception, and he's going to go 88 yards for the score. That puts them on top by 14. Third down at the 49. Florence is able to haul in the contested pass, and he'll eventually be brought down, but not before getting to the 37-yard line. A fumble would later end the drive. Raiders with the ball midway through the second. Newton's able to get open here, and he capped off the long drive with the TD. As they go up here at 21-0. Raiders on 1st and 5. Tight coverage here, but the completion is made, and he caps off the 7-play drive with a score. Raiders continue to dominate.
Okay, Larry, a fairly one-sided first half as we get set to go in the second half. This is fielded at the chalk of the 10. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively.
And while that play was unsuccessful to start the second half, I'm not sure that you just totally abandon what you do running the football. Maybe you make some adjustments in your run game and do things a little bit differently. But that doesn't necessarily mean you just go to the pass and do nothing else.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he got blown up on that play. Back at the 20. It's a loss of 4. Now third down.
Partner, I think the easy thing now would be to just abandon the run and start throwing the football at all costs. But I've been in so many games where it doesn't work running the ball. It doesn't work running the ball. And then something pops, and now you get something going. I'm not so sure to just abandon your game plan this early in the second half.
Over the middle, complete. It's Newton. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. Here's the Jets offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
And that's another stop for the defense. Something we've seen all game long. They have been on fire today. No matter what's called by the offense, they've had an answer for it.
And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down.
Partner, that's another short run there, and I think the easy thing is to look at them right now and say, let's get away from them entirely. Let's start throwing the football, but I don't think you ever entirely abandon the run. It helps set a tone for the game for you, keeps your offensive linemen feeling good about themselves, and it actually tamps down a defense's pressure because if you just throw it all the time, it's going to tee off with the pass rush.
And this will be taken at the 13. That'll go as a punt of 42, 7 on the return. And now Oakland ready to take the field. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get a cushion, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
On first down, they'll run it on the draw play. And he will fight his way forward to about the 23-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
The way things have gone in this one, the running game's been something of an afterthought, and that's not been too bad for them, has it?
Yeah, the offensive returns have been good, but I guess we figured he in the ground game would be a bit more involved. Looking to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. Well, the numbers have been good in the passing game, and certainly a big reason why they have the lead. But now here, third quarter, maybe go to the run game a little more? Yeah,
perhaps. I mean, after that incompletion, a little credit to the defense for shutting them down on that play. Maybe you try and run the football a little bit more in this spot. But they have to feel good about how they've been throwing it overall.
The Raiders on third down. They have been superb. 5 for 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 8. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Newton. And he is out of bounds, getting it just shy of the 35. That one will go as a gain of 11. Raiders having a first down as well.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
So here we go, 1st and 10 now. They'll run it now out of the gun. Not much there. Maybe a couple up to the 35.
You know how we get focused at the end of the half and into the game situations about how much time's on the board and, you know, what you need to do? Sometimes you don't even have to worry about that. That's just smart football. You know, with that kind of a lead, staying in bounds, it burns clock, even in a situation that we're not really focused on it.
They run a draw here on second down. They'll be dropped shy of the 40 despite powering through the tackle. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. And he is out of bounds, just a yard or two shy of the 30. A big 30-yard play on 3rd. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Now a handoff looking right. And that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
Brandon, at some point, these defenders absolutely have to say, we just got to make a stand. We've had enough of this.
Giving up a lot of points in this game, but look better on that play. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They'll run it now out of the gun. And this time they were ready for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain there, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 13.
Well, he was stopped on that play. He's had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
This will be caught inside the 10. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. A nice job there, Charles. They picked up the blitz, were able to complete the pass.
That had the total feel of a quarterback in control. Red blitz, got him into the right protection scheme, so he doesn't get hit back there. He's got a chance to step up with supreme confidence and deliver it downfield for a nice completion.
And he'll give it here to his running back. Flashed a nifty move, but they'll drop him at the 5-yard line. Give him 3 on the gain there, 2nd and goal.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to...
And down he goes. Pressure gets him back at the 14.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Offense on 3rd down. They've been flat getting it down 8 for 9 to this point. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. They'll drop to throw. And he's going to go down again.
And it appears to me that someone's defensive coordinator is jockeying for a raise. A sack on 2nd and goal, a sack on 3rd and goal. Now brings up a decision on 4th down.
Here's Marquette King now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. And this will depend on the spot as it sails out of bounds, and they'll say it sailed out at the 10-yard line. Now the Jets offense about set to take over as they head onto the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. That's good for a Jet first down, a gain of 13.
How many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, you got a back who's quick and shifty, can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary, and that led to a really nice game.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They'll keep it on the ground. Turner, and he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
When you're putting together a formula for winning defense, it's exactly what we're seeing in this game. Controlling the line of scrimmage, attacking, and changing everything so that now they're playing in the offense's backfield. They're playing an excellent game.
We're off to the 4th quarter here in Week 15. Happy holidays to all. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4.
Single receiver. Hey, you're on an island over there. Single receiver. Now let's go.
They'll set up to throw, and he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. You got the big lead defensively, willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
The Jets on 3rd down. Just 1 conversion in 8 tries. Not good. This is 3rd and 4. He'll drop to throw. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. Give him 5 yards there, and it's enough for the first.
Pretty heavy traffic over the middle on that one, and somehow he emerged with the football. Way to possess it despite all the extra contact and people around him.
Let's go! 3-19!
On first down, he'll drop to throw. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
So the defense has put them in a tough spot. It's 2nd and long. Petty now. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. The Jets on 3rd down, not so hot. 2 for 9 to this point. This is 3rd and 11. Back to throw here. Hard throw, incomplete. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden the secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
And it is incomplete. Mike Tomlin takes a shot here, but to no avail. And the Raiders with the football now in excellent field position. A gutsy decision there at this stage in the second half in their own territory, and a decision that they might regret.
Can't wait for the post-mortem. You know, this post-game press conference, because the questions are going to come fast and furious about this decision, no matter how the game turns out, right? What were you thinking there? Why? Did you have a certain play call? Were you confident in your defense? Oh, yeah. Why? It's going to keep coming up.
Yeah, no matter the scoreboard, just tough to justify. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
They'll set up a throw. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long.
All right, here we go.
They'll look to throw. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Darren Lee in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
Here's Marquette King now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Fair catch signaled for and taken at about the 15-yard line. They'll call that a 33-yard punt with no return. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10. So we take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC as the Jets come back out on offense. And last time they were very fortunate, this offense. They went for it on 4, turned it over in their own territory, but the other guys held up. They didn't give up any points.
So how about the guy with the #1 headset on the sidelines, the head coach? That was planned going into it, not necessarily to not get the first down or to have the defense have to hold up.
But he trusted his defense.
Trusted his defense very much, and I think that's how he's going to play this game. Go for it, be aggressive, because I've got the Wild Bunch backing me up over here on my own sideline.
We'll see what his offense can do. Raiders have got him.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
The Jets on 3rd down. Just a 20% success rate at 2 of 10. This is 3rd down and 12. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 14. That interception sets them up beautifully already in the red zone.
And you can hear it all the way up here. Oski, everyone turned to block, find a spot, and now they're set up inside the red zone for their offense.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row. There were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really.
And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. A great play there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Raiders take advantage of field position on the turnover to cash this one in.
And now we've hit that stage of the game, partner, where one of our predecessors, one of the great commentators of all time, he used to sing in this situation when this game appeared to be over.
I know the fat lady's been singing for some time.
No, not her at all. This is one of our guys.
But she's singing, too.
Oh, she's at least...
She's on, like, the 5th tune at this point.
She left Scales way behind, but he used to sing something about turning out the lights. The party was over.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This one taken from the 7. Gets around him. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. So out now come the Jets. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. It'll be a gain of 10 to start the drive out, and by a few inches, that'll be a 1st down.
He's a rookie, and you don't want to get hung up on the word potential, but when you see him make catches like that, you keep thinking to yourself, he's good now. He's got a chance to be great with plenty of work.
Let's go.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. Complete to Stewart, right side. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Elsewhere across the league, 4th quarter action in Los Angeles. Now, you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. And we'll keep an eye on that one as our game goes along here. Here's Petty. And this is incomplete. The Jets on 3rd down. They've converted just twice and have had plenty of opportunities. This will be 3rd and 6. He'll look to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And he gets this one across midfield for the 1st down to the 46. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. fifth catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. It used to be occasional, right? Safety valve, throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
Back to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. That throw good for 4. It's second down.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
So they complete the pass, and now they face a second down.
Check 24. Watch 24. Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
Room here to run. And he slides to avoid the hit. It'll be a gain of 6, and that'll bring up what looks to be a 3rd and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot.
Here we go now. 3-19.
Ball had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. It's been that kind of a day so far throwing the football. It just seems like nothing going right offensively.
Yeah, it's a catch that should have been made, pure and simple. And look, everything else that goes into running a good pass route, throw it all out if you don't catch the ball.
Been that kind of game throwing the football so far. Nothing going right offensively. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And Charles, in a very one-sided affair, I think we reached the point in the broadcast where you and I, we may have some filling to do, right?
Yeah, I think you're right about that because we got to try and keep people around. We don't want them to change the channel. Stay with us in this game. Is that Ben Ramsar? Are you hearing from Ben on the headset here? Telling us stretch this thing out a little bit?
Get some talking points. Dig them all out.
That's what you get. A big-time producer. Keep them here.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Raider football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. The Raiders on 3rd down. They've had plenty of success. 8 conversions, looking for a 9th. This is 3rd and 8. And not too much going there as he'll get it up to the 23-yard line. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down. Here's Marquette King now as he's on to punt for Oakland. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. So this punt sails out of bounds across midfield. Now the question, they're going to spot it right at the 40, the 40-yard line. Elsewhere across the league, 4th quarter action in Los Angeles. And the Rams have opened it up to lead by a couple of touchdowns now. Remember to keep an eye on the ticker, of course, at the bottom of your screen for updates on that game and others around the NFL. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And he slings one that's incomplete. So 2nd and 10 here.
Here
They're going to look to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Gary and Conley. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Raider defense delivers a score. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
Janikowski on for the extra point. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. This is fielded at the chalk of the 10. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And New York set to take the field. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today, coaching.
And now look at him go. And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late. But he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man. So they will get on the scoreboard here. Give them credit for that. Too little, too late, but no 0. Oh, you're going slow clap on me.
Not very nice, is it?
No, but they haven't been very nice on offense. It's been a struggle. Here's Chandler Catanzaro for the extra point. And they make the score a little bit more respectable here in our final quarter of play. Elsewhere across the league, fourth quarter action in Los Angeles. And the Rams have opened it up to lead by a couple of touchdowns now. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. Catanzaro out now as he'll kick this one away. It's a short kick, taking it to 15. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. And now Oakland ready to take the field. They have the big cushion here in the final stages of this one. I don't know if there's any better feeling than being up big on the road. There really can't be, because for a team to go on the road and win in the NFL, that's huge to begin with. But just think about all the preparation that went into it. When they first started talking about this game, leading up to it during the week, going on the road, unfamiliar city, obviously, unfamiliar hotel. No one's going to be with you once you get to the stadium. They're all going to be against you. You name it, all those things they had to deal with, they were able to conquer them and do it convincingly. Yeah, they did it very convincingly, and now the final moments of this one. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
Let's go! Green 39!
Now a handoff here to his running back. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for the Raiders, their battle to finish 500 gets a slight lift as they move to 6-8 on the year. And another road date awaits them next week as their opponents will be the Los Angeles Chargers. Meanwhile, for the Jets, the season is really nosediving now as they fall to 2-12. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. So that's a wrap. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. With that, we say so long, everybody.